What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to the channel. You know the man, Coach Mike James. You know the brand, P&Z Life Coaching, and I'm back again with another amazing, awesome episode of Black Business Booming. As I told you all before, I love Black Business Booming because it started from a place of just wanting to get the message out there about Black businesses that I know that are booming and doing some amazing things no matter where they are on their journey. And for a long time, everybody was connected to me in some way. But as I've done more of episodes, and now I think I'm over 60 episodes now, I've been able to connect with people that I had no awareness of from just other people and word of mouth. So I'm so excited about this interview. Just a dope soul that I've met just recently, social media, us doing what we do. And part of what we're going to talk about, this idea, word of mouth, and just networking and this whole idea that you're going to bring forward. I'm so excited to get into it. So what I want you to do before we get all up in your Black businesses, I want you to just take a moment and tell everybody, tell the audience briefly who you are, any kind of background information about you, where you're from and everything, and then we'll jump into it.
Okay, well, thanks for having me, first of all. And shout out to the recommendation. I am Nicole Murphy. I'm the founder and CEO of Barter Black, born and raised in Washington, D.C. I do live in Maryland now. But I am on a mission to change the way Black entrepreneurs grow, scale their businesses. So I'm excited to be here with you today.
Love it. Love that. And again, as a entrepreneur, just hearing stuff and seeing things like that, I always get excited about because the idea and what you're doing, and just even when I looked on the website, I just love that. And we need more of it, like I told you before we started, just this platform, why I created this interview segment on my YouTube is to get the word out there, and I tell people all the time, you don't have to have this grandiose audience and all this, and have start where you are and just support your people. You know what I mean? So that's the purpose of this. So Nicole, I'm so excited to have you and on this, and just to discuss more into Barter Black. Before we go any further, listen, at this point, y'all already know what we're talking about. This is going to be dope. So if you haven't already, if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that follow. It's going to be information in the description below. So you make sure you connect with Nicole. This is going to be awesome. So Nicole, Barter Black. So let's go to the beginning. So when did you Barter Black, and what inspired you to do so?
So that is an amazing story. Like most people, or some people, Barter Black was birthed out of the pandemic. So before Barter Black, I had a short-term property management company in the DC area where we cleaned and managed Airbnb properties. So as you can imagine, the Airbnb industry went downhill once the
Mm,
pandemic hit. And I was absolutely devastated. I mean, I saw reservations canceled overnight. And it's so crazy because the New York Times voted Washington, D.C. the tourist place of the year that the pandemic hit. So I was like, baby, we about to get this money. And then no. So I saw how other Black entrepreneurs were struggling to manage during the pandemic, along with myself. And I'm like, okay, we have all these skills, we have all these Black businesses. Why aren't we helping each other? Not necessarily just in these times, but in regular day life of entrepreneurship. Why aren't we using each other's skills in our businesses to help us grow? We're so used to doing it on our own. We're solopreneurs. We want to do all things. That's not how $1 million brands are built. So I was like, Barter Black. Why aren't we bartering? And I know that's something you probably heard they used to do back in the day, but corporations and business owners that don't look like us are still bartering, and that's how they're growing and scaling. So Barter Black was definitely built from the pandemic. I don't think if the pandemic would have happened, I would be here talking to you right now.
yeah. And Nicole, we talked about it a little bit before we started the interview. Black business booming is a pandemic baby, because I thought about it. I had started as I told you, I had started my coaching business about a year prior. I started my coaching business summer 2019. And when the pandemic happened, I just noticed, thankfully, oh, I'm so blessed that my business was primarily virtual anyway. Like
Mhm.
I was Zooming before before Zoom it was big and before all the controversy happened with Zoom and all that. So that's I guess that was the blessing for me. But I just noticed, like, man, we're at home, we can't get out much.
Right.
But there are people doing stuff. And I thought about it, I was like, Black business is booming. So I just started reaching out to friends. You got a Black business, you got a business, you're an entrepreneur. Let's talk about it. And
Yeah.
let's give people that are sitting at home, those people that are thinking about, I've been on this dream for so many years, what better time than now for me to launch it? Because I ain't
Absolutely.
going nowhere. At the time, Nicole, if you did have a corporate job, people weren't sure what the work day looked like. So you were spending time like, am I gonna eat now? Do I take a break? Do I take a nap? It was business on the top, party on the bottom. And so this really just birthed from that. Like I just want to still have a platform to get the word out there, to just my small audience, no matter how much
Right.
it grows, let me do that. So I think that's, and it's been said a few times on some of the interviews that I've had on Black Business Booming, that that's one of the beautiful things that did come out of it for so many.
Hmm.
So now, Barter Black, you talked about it in number one during the pandemic. So it's still so much like, what do I do here and there? But when you go back to that and you think back to 2020, what was one of the most challenging things in the formation of Barter Black or getting it started?
It's still the same challenge. Surprisingly, it's getting people to understand how bartering can help you grow and scale your business. So I have to do the education, and I'm okay with that. I'm in this for the long haul. But in the beginning, people were like, "I'm not doing nothing for free." This not. And you have to realize your time is not free. Your resources are not free. Those things are not free. So for me, my challenge was I'm coming into something that's not new, but new to most people when it comes to their business, doing it in their business, that I have to educate people. And I have to think about the things that, because I know the business so well, I'm not thinking about what the amateur person thinks about. So recently, with this relaunch that we're doing, I asked people, if I said this, what would your next question be? Which created a whole list of frequently asked questions that I can, use for anyone who's coming in. They can be able to look at these frequently asked questions and people will be able to know what Barter Black is. But the main thing is educating and knowing that
Mhm.
you are not doing anything for free. It is exchange of goods and services. And if you need a web designer because your website looks horrible, why not leverage your experience and expertise, whatever you have? So you have a coaching business. Why not? I'll give you 2 hours of coaching for you to design my website. It's so simple to do. But the education part is huge and still is.
Yeah. Oh man, this is so awesome, Nicole, because what you're saying is, when I told you that I'm a facilitator for a coaching school, and when we're teaching the coaches, for those who want to go on to get their credentialing, of course they got to go to the next level of certification and then go on to get, if they want to get their credentialing with the International Coaching Federation. One of the things we tell them is that, you know, don't forget bartering services. It's 35 of y'all in this class today. Barter, because that goes to your 100 sessions that you need. So it's so interesting, like you said, when people don't realize. I think that was one of the things that helped me early on in terms of getting the word out that, hey, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm a life coach. It was some bartering. I bartered with a esthetician. I bartered with a barber. So that's the thing. I think the beauty of it, and I think that's what it is, Nicole. People, a lot of times, that education, I felt you so much when you said that, because people think, well, I ain't doing it for free. Wait, do do you wanna grow and get yourself started? Or do you just want to sit and wait when you could be doing something that's beneficial for not only you, but you, the other business,
Yes.
that both businesses' audiences? Hey, I
Yes.
work. oh, and blah, 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 blah. This is awesome. Go. And so, oh, I love that. Now, you mentioned, you said it still is today that challenge to education, people not understanding exactly what it is, what it looks like, and especially for the long haul. I love that you said you're in it for the long haul. So, other than that, this education piece, what are still some of the day-to-day challenges that you face, maybe outside of just even the education in running Barter Black?
I would say one of the things I've learned recently is managing and delegating.
Mm,
It's been super, super big. So we are relaunching because what I kind of determined in my journey of entrepreneurship, and a lot of people don't like to say this, is that where I was and what I was doing, it just wasn't working. So the Barter Black that was, 2 years ago is not the Barter Black that's launching next month. So I had to step back and say, wait a minute, okay, you have to revamp this whole thing because it's not working. So one of the things that I did was our current platform or our previous platform, you and I come together, we say we're going to exchange goods and services with each other, has to be at the same value. We have to want each other's services at the same time. This new Barter Black, we're integrating trade credits where you can go online and get exactly what you want for your business. You don't have to get anything in return for someone using our barter bucks. So you pay someone in barter bucks, they then use those barter bucks to get what they want in their business. So it's an ecosystem of things. So in that process, I launched a crowd bartering campaign, which is similar to a crowdfunding campaign, but instead of asking for financial donations, I asked for your skills and your expertise. What can you do to help me rebuild and relaunch this platform? And I have about, I don't know, 6 or 7 people on the team now. And it has been a struggle to say, okay, I have to manage and delegate things, and I have to not take everything on myself because we get used to saying, oh, I can
yeah,
do it faster
yeah,
instead of saying, you know what, this is what you're here for. Let me, just pass this on to you. So that process and that mindset for me has been a challenge personally because it's like, okay, yes, girl, you have a team now. Let's use them. So getting used to that has been a challenge. And then also putting myself out there. So I am very introverted at moments. But I feel like, and in the journey when I started, I had to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. So even though I'm introverted, I will put myself in places where I'm very uncomfortable to try to get comfortable. And I've heard that, you grow more in places where you're uncomfortable. So those are definitely the challenges that I have faced personally, in growing the business.
yeah, man. Oh, that's a whole book right there, Nicole. I mean, like mindset. I
See?
dub myself a transformation coach, but I say my approach is all about mindset, and that right there, oh, you said something then, because it's interesting, right? That when we are solopreneurs, like I need a team, then we may be blessed and fortunate to get a team, and we still want to, it's my baby. So like you said, changing that mindset of learning how to delegate and lean on your team,
Hmm.
man, that is huge. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been it's
That
been it's been it's been a challenge, but it's been amazing because I can work on other things, and I think bartering helps people learn how to do that managing. Because they're not fully hiring people, so I have to delegate this particular thing. So let me delegate this to you and see how that works. Because a lot of times we don't know how to manage.
hmm yeah. Yeah, I love that. And this is the point where I say pretty much in almost every interview that I do, there's a point where I say, you see so much and you hear so much, especially where there be social media in this world of misinformation and disinformation that we live in. And we hear so much about, what black people ain't doing and blah, 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 and this and that. And I say, listen, man, it's the point. Every interview I say this, I don't need anybody to tell me what black people are or are not doing because I know what my web is doing. I say my web because we're all intertwined, not just my
Right.
circle. And so this is the type of stuff that you hear in the community and saying what we need. And I always say it's happening. You're just not plugged in or listening or looking to the right thing where you see it. Because this right here, what you're talking about right now, that is one of the biggest things that can help the community overall and the culture. The idea of bartering and not realizing how pivotal that is and supporting us as we all grow. And you gotta come correct, right? Because if you ain't got your ish together, you still people still ain't you still ain't gonna get no traction. So that's the key in that too. And I love that. Oh, you know what? This yeah, this is beautiful. So now we talked about the challenges. So as you think about this, and as you're thinking about the relaunch, which we're going to talk about it, and even you gave some of the reasons why you're doing it, as you sit here in this beautiful shirt and it says Barter Black, what is the most satisfying part of your business?
Mm, I can name so much, but I think the most satisfying part is that I am, and I know I am, going to be responsible for some legacies being built.
Mm,
Um, because when people barter, and they have bartered on the older platform, it just created some barriers that we had to break down. Um, it gives people that space that they need to be the true CEO that they want to be. It creates a space where you can grow a lot faster and a lot more efficient than you would be if you were in this business alone. We have to get the help that we need. So the most satisfying part is when people do barter and they're excited, they save money, they made a connection. The connections that you make too, and the relationships that you build are absolutely amazing in it. So I mean, there's so much. But the legacies, because I feel like we're going to be breaking down that solopreneur aspect in businesses and making sure that you get the help that you need, regardless of the funding, your budget, regardless of what you have to actually hire someone. We're giving you that space. You have no excuse at this point, because I say any business or business idea that you have will not die because you don't have the funding anymore. If you have the experience and the expertise, you leverage that to get what you need from other business owners. So I'm just excited.
Legacy, man, I'm excited too. Like I said, it's been, I don't know, 3 weeks maybe since sis tagged me on that post, and I'm like, just like I said, just looking at the website and especially now in the interview and hearing what it's all about, it's amazing. And again, this is one that I'm going to push for a while because it's one of those things where again we don't know certain stuff exists
Right.
because you just ain't heard about it. you know, like, well, Mike, see, I think I, I'm gonna get into the sometimes the old head. See, what we need is, and ain't nobody doing this. Well, no, let me tell you about this awesome sister that I connected with, and Barter Black. So I love that, and I think it's so important. So that excitement is felt, and I'm excited too to be on the journey and see what happens to this. I love when you say legacy. I always tell people that people ask sometimes, well, Mike, why don't you go with your name or whatever? You're a coach and speaker. Why don't you go with your name? I say, well, because every time I wear my shirt, every time I represent my business, every time I'm on stage, I'm representing family. Because
Right.
P and Z is my parents' initials. They both transitioned
Mm,
on. So P and Z, it's about legacy. I say whether
yeah.
I'm always a solopreneur or a team of hundreds, I'm always representing family. So it'll always be a family business. So I love when you said legacy. So, Nicole, to that young man, young woman, young person out there, young black person out there that's watching, say, okay, now here it is again. Coach Mike, I've seen these interviews. I'm sitting on this this dream or this business that I have, but I don't know. Nicole, what would you say to that person watching? Anyone that's wanting to start a business, or maybe, as we talked about, times can be rough. A lot of businesses were birthed out of the pandemic, but a lot were
Right.
also put on the shelf. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do this. And that's okay. And I love when you said sometimes realizing that what you were doing or what you are doing ain't working. That's okay. Sometimes you gotta go back to employment. That's okay. That's what being a man or woman is all about. Handling responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So, what would you say to that person that's wanting to start a business, other than the gems you've already dropped? What advice would you give to that person?
My number one thing since I started Barter Black is partnership. Do not go in it alone. Too many times we want to say, oh no, this is mine, this is my baby. No, find someone who is just as passionate about the topic, the business as you are, and partner with them, because 100% of nothing is nothing. And we are building these businesses that are valued at zero. But when you have someone who you can build, you're splitting the time, you're splitting the money, you're splitting all the resources, so that helps you build the business faster. One of the things I want people to realize is that, and I always say this, start building your team. And I know it's hard to build your team without the financing, without the budget. I know it's hard. That's what Barter Black is for. But I want people to ask themselves a question. I ask people this all the time: can your business survive without you? If I took you out of your business today, will it run? And if it cannot, then I need you to start doing something every day to ensure that if mom got sick or if you got sick, that business can still run. A lot of times we don't think about the future of the business. And I want people to start thinking about the future and not just the present.
Mm, man, Nicole, you just jumped through the screen and drop kicked me in my chest. Because I told you, like, I did a speaker academy. Shout out to Jeremy Anderson and Next Level Speakers Academy. And that was the thing. A lot of people talk about, well, use your name, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I was like, and I tell my story. I remember we was on a Zoom, it was about 50 people. And I told my story. And I was like, nah, bro. Yeah, you do what you doing. Because when you tell, we know a lot of sales is about a story, right? Especially when
Right.
you're a solopreneur. But when you said that, it made me go back to that thought, of using your name and everything. And so when you said, if you remove yourself, my business is done. So that's another reason why I do these interviews too. I told you before, I had my notes. And that's one of the things, I am going to write, just that partnership and building your team, because it's one of those things where if something happens, can your business be sustainable? You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
So another note I want to mention, and when I say, 100% of nothing is nothing, one of the things that we don't talk about, and it's things that we just don't know, that other ethnicities are doing. But I am about to start offering equity compensation in my business, because there are things that I'm just not an expert at. We're not an expert at everything. So you can offer someone 5% of your business to come in and work and then create a contract where in a year there's a salary or something like that. You have to get creative when you're a solopreneur and you just don't have the funding. So think about how creative you can build your team. Bartering is definitely one. I always say that, but look into equity compensation as well, because a lot of businesses that don't look like us, or business owners that don't look like us, are offering equity compensation in their business to get those experts that they need that can work for them.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be sending this one out to a lot of other businesses that I've had on Black Business Booming. Because again, just a lot of gems and good solid advice that you're giving there. Thank you so much for that. Now you've dropped some things already and you've given some things. We talked about the relaunch, but and this offering that equity into the business, but Expounding on that a little bit more about the relaunch. What's next for Barter Black? What's on the horizon for Barter Black?
I am excited about what is next for Barter Black, because, like I said before, we are integrating what we call trade credits. So when you barter, you don't have to exchange with each other. It's going to be set up similar to a Fiverr and Upwork. So if you've used any of those platforms, you're going to be able to use this platform very easy. The most amazing thing is you're going to be paying a lot less than you would on those plans because you are using our trade credits. And you earn those trade credits by listing what you offer in your business. So if you do offer graphic design, you can post, graphic design services. I'm not sure how much those cost, but you can post that. People will purchase that on the website. You get barter bucks, and then you can take those barter bucks and spend it wherever you want. So it's not a direct exchange, it's an indirect exchange. And we're basically creating an ecosystem. I pay you, then you pay someone else, and then you pay someone else. But the trade credits can only be used on the platform, and then you'll be paying a service fee similar to Fiverr and Upwork. You'll just pay a service fee. So if you purchase something on the platform for $1,500, you're paying $1,500 in trade credits, barter bucks, and then you'll pay, I think it's a 12% service fee to Barter Black. So it makes it a lot more affordable to actually get the things that you need in your business. I don't want anyone after we launch to be trying to learn all the things. If you are not an expert in accounting, if you are not an expert in writing contracts, if you are not an expert in web development, I want you to go online and purchase those services instead of trying to learn it, because trying to learn it actually slows down the growth of your business. You're too busy trying to learn those things that you're not focused on what you are actually an expert at and what you started your business for. I think a lot of times we get away from that. We started our business, we wanted, to be an esthetician, but we're doing marketing, we're doing the website, we're doing the accounting. I want people to learn how to start hiring people in that position. And then it grows the businesses that are actually doing the services. Because what are you going to do? It's like, oh, I've got this amazing service on Barter Black. You should go on there. And purchase too. It's basically an ecosystem of exchange goods and collaboration all in one. So I'm excited for it. But it launches on August 12th.
August 12th. Listen, it is July as we are recording this. August 12th is around the corner. I hope everybody watching is feeling that excitement as well, hearing that excitement too. And sis, like honestly, everybody listen, you gotta check it. You gotta check out Barter Black. Cause I was just looking, you got everything laid out right there. And then apparel as well. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rock some of these shirts. You know what I mean? So and it's right there. And so I'm so excited to see the relaunch and what that looks like. And definitely I'm excited and proud of what you're doing. It's amazing because like I said, it's not that it's not happening, but being able to be exposed to it and know how to connect with those people. And that's what I'm so grateful about my journey in the last 4, 5, 6 years. I've been connecting with so many amazing and dope people, and so this idea here is just another one of those that's awesome to even think about, is growing together. And you said something that is a very sophisticated term of what I was telling you I use. You said ecosystem. I always say web. I say, people say check your circle. I say, well, I think about the old high school athlete in me, and you could be at 2 points on a track and never touch 2 points on a circle, but a web, it connects us all. So when you said ecosystem, I feel that because you and I, though we've just met in recent weeks, and this is our first time sitting having a conversation, we were already connected.
Right.
So we were already a part of each other's ecosystem, each other's web. And so that's what I think is so amazing, that now what you're doing with Barter Black is giving more people an opportunity to do that, to plug into an ecosystem that hell wants to see you win. You know what I'm saying? Not rooting for your downfall, but wants to see you win. We were rooting for you. So that's awesome. So Nicole, thank you for all this great information. Anything else? Any announcements? Anything else that you want to tell the people? By the way, let me put this plug in for Nicole. Listen, if you have a platform as well, where you talk to business owners or you interview whatever it may be, all of y'all who are out there doing all those online interview series with shout out ATL and all these and all the ones in your city, make sure you tell people about Nicole because we got to get this information out there. But sis, any announcements or anything else, any further information that you want to share with the audience?
Yeah, so one of the statistics in Black businesses that I always want to mention, and it kind of makes Barter Black a necessity, is that less than 5% of employer operated businesses in the United States are Black owned. Less than 5%. And that's compared to over 80% of white owned businesses. So if that's not telling you that we are not hiring, we are not building sustainable businesses, and if that's what your goal and your vision is, it's time to start hiring. And every time I say it's time to start hiring, people say, I don't have the money. You have Barter Black now. It's no excuse at all. And then the last thing is that we are having a virtual relaunch party on August the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So click the link wherever it is on the screen and register for that. We are going to have an amazing time, and I have a panel coming that's going to talk about mindset, that's going to talk about burnout, and grief during entrepreneurship as well, because those are the things that, kind of sidetrack us in our journey. Yeah. So, but definitely stay connected.
Yeah, please stay connected. Make sure that you connect with Nicole. All the information that's provided in the description below, and stay informed and in the know of this amazing business and amazing ecosystem. I again love that word, and so, and let Nicole know that you heard her, you saw her on Black Business Booming, because we want to keep this thing growing and we want to keep it going as well. Nicole, thank you so much for your time. Since this is our first time talking, I know it won't be the last. I'm excited. If I think I'm not. I was just thinking, I think I'm gonna be in Vegas on vacation that week, but I'm not. It's the week before. So I want to attend the virtual relaunch and looking forward to the 12th as well. So thank you so much. On that journey, just keep in touch. Let me know if there's anything I can do as well. And definitely want to stay plugged into all the amazing things you have going on. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time today.
I appreciate you having me on. I had an amazing time. I hope everyone learned something. I appreciate you having me on. And yes, we will definitely be staying connected. We're family
Awesome.
now. We're in this
Yes,
ecosystem
period.
now.
Look, I'm telling you, we connected. Look, and anybody that knows me knows I'm all about that. And I, when I'm doing, like, I'll do TikTok lives and stuff, and I'm saying sis and love and bro and all this stuff. Like, you grew up with them? Nah, I just met them 6 months ago, but we connected. Nah, they just came in my live the other day. We connected now. We family. Right. So I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another amazing episode of Black Business Booming. If you know someone that should be on this platform, please reach out, let me know. And as always, we will see you next time on the next episode of Black Business Booming.